Hey, so we are live. Hello, people. Good evening. Trust you're doing great. Trust your day was great today. So I started a little bit late today, so I'm a bit sorry. I'm sorry for that. I started a little bit late, but I'll just go take this straight up. Today we're starting the new series as promised. Today we're starting a new series. All right, and this series is going to compound on the last series we just did. So it's a case of compounded series. And I did say that the title of this series is The Quiet Build. The last series we just completed, it's the disciplined life. Now coming forward, there's a new series that builds on that, and this is called The Quiet Build. And this episode is titled, What Are You Actually Building? What are you actually building? So please, whenever you join, let us know where you're joining from. Thank you so much. So we'll just go forward. Discipline gives you control. We said that before in the old series. But control alone doesn't give you direction. Many people become disciplined and then they feel strangely empty. So that tells you that discipline alone doesn't give you everything you want. And this is not because discipline failed, no. But discipline cleared the noise. Discipline gave you focus. Discipline brought in clarity. All right? And discipline revealed a deeper question. Discipline revealed a deeper question. What am I actually building with my life? That is the question discipline asks. What am I actually building with my life? What am I actually building with my life? That's a deeper question. This series begins here. This series tends to go deep into the build part. Now, this is a moment people don't talk about. The chaos is gone. The bad habits are now under control. Life looks better on paper. But inside, there's a quiet feeling that says, okay, Matt, now what? Matt, you're now disciplined. Matt, there's no longer chaos. Hey, Devin Trasher, hello guys. Thanks for joining. There's no longer chaos. The bad habit is gone. Life looks good on paper now. But inside, there's a quiet feeling that says, okay, what next? No drama, no crisis. Just a pause where life asks for meaning instead of fixing. Isla 8, you said I should shout out your name. Shout out to you, my man. Now, as usual on this live, I break the talk into segments. So this is segment number 1. Segment 1, discipline clears the road. It doesn't draw the blueprint. So for the last series, we talked about discipline. But this is compounding on that. And this series is all about the quiet build. I said segment number 1 is discipline clears the road. It doesn't draw the blueprint. Discipline removes chaos, as we've rightly said. It creates space. It stabilizes routines. It quietens distraction, right? But discipline doesn't tell you what to build. Discipline does not tell you what to build. It prepares the ground. It doesn't choose the structure. And this is where many people get confused. They feel stable now, all right? Now I'm stable. There's no chaos in my life anymore. But they're not fulfilled. They feel focused because that's what discipline is going to bring. But they are not directed. All right? Now, this is where people say to close friends or or partners, they say things like, I should feel happier than I'm feeling now. I think I should feel happier than this because right now I've done what I need to do. I think I should feel happier than this. They say things like, I've fixed so much, but why do I still feel unsettled? And you see people asking those questions, I've fixed a lot. Why do I still feel unsettled? The relationship didn't fail, my friend. The discipline didn't fail. You just reached the point where structure asks for purpose. That point is where structure asks for what next. Hey, Maria Alvarado, how are you doing? So segment number 2, why stability can feel unsettling. I see you, Viola. How you doing, Viola? Thanks for joining. When chaos leaves, silence enters. And silence asks questions. Silence asks questions like, what matters to me now? What deserves my energy? What do I want this discipline to produce over time? Viola Zuniga, I see you. Oh, you say your name is Sebastian. Hello, Sebastian, what's up? Silence asks questions like, what do I want this discipline to produce over time? These questions, they don't shout. They wait. And many people avoid them by staying busy instead of intentional. Now, this is why people feel every moment. You see them, they do more work, more scrolling on the internet, they do more projects, they get involved in more noise. Now, not because they are lazy, but because silence feels exposing. Silence feels exposing. Silence removes excuses and asks you to decide. Now you're disciplined. Now you have clarity. Then the question now becomes, what next, Matt? Matt, what next with your life? Segment number 3, the difference between motion and progress. Not all movement is progress, my friends. Not all movement is progress. You can be disciplined and still drift. You can be disciplined and still drift. Because discipline without direction creates efficiency, not purpose. Oh, throughout last week, we talked about the disciplined life. And now we are compounding on that. We're talking about the quiet build. Now that you're disciplined, what next? So we're saying that you can be disciplined and still drift. Discipline without direction, it creates efficiency, but not purpose. Now, this is a danger of the next phase. You are doing things right. You're following the rules. You're making sure everything works as planned, but not necessarily doing the right things. You are doing things right, but you're not doing the right things. Hey, Viola, I see you. Hello, thanks for joining. Now, in real life, this is the person who wakes up early. He stays consistent. He checks all the boxes. Yet quietly he wonders, if I keep doing this for 5 years, where will it take me? Where will it take me? Oh, I see you, Annan. Thanks for joining. Where will this take me? Motion feels productive, but progress feels intentional. Motion feels productive, progress feels intentional. Now, if you're just joining this, please subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of lives that you can watch, a lot of videos that you can watch. We've been doing this series for a very long time. We're just starting a new series today, which is titled The Quiet Build. And this is episode number 1 of that series. Now, segment number 4, building requires longer thinking. Building requires longer thinking. Building asks a different set of questions. Not building doesn't say, oh, what feels urgent. Instead of that, building says, what will matter in 5 years from now? This episode is, what are you actually building? And now we are saying building asks different set of questions. Building doesn't say, what do I do today? What feels urgent? No, building says, what will matter in 5 years from now? Building doesn't say what gives you quick feedback. No, building says what compounds quietly over time. what compounds quietly over time. Discipline, remember, discipline trained you to show up. When we talked about discipline in life, one of the things we talked about is showing up. So discipline trained you to show up, but building trains you to think ahead. I'll take that again. Discipline trained you to show up. So you're always available. When you're needed, you're there. But building trains you to think ahead. Now, this is where parenting, leadership, and life all intersect. You stop asking questions like, what works today? No, you start asking questions like, what kind of future am I creating? What kind of future am I creating even when nobody sees it? When the future is still working on the ground. Remember during the Discipline Life series, we talked about effort that works on the ground for a very long time. Remember the story of the Chinese bamboo tree? If you've not listened to that, please go watch that. I have those live on our channel. Go watch that. This is where parenting, leadership, and life all intersect. It's not a case of today. You don't ask questions like, what works today? You ask, what kind of future am I creating, even when no one sees it yet? That shift feels heavy, but it is where maturity begins. That is where maturity actually begins. You're no longer thinking about now, you're thinking about what you're building over the course of time. Now let's look at segment number 5. This is the season where people say things like, I am doing better, but I don't know where I'm going. I'm doing better, but I don't know where I'm going. People say things like, life feels calmer, but something is missing. You hear people say, I've fixed the habits. Now what? I have fixed the habits. You talked about habit. I fixed all that. Now what? Friends, nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong. You have simply reached the point where discipline hands responsibility back to you. Now you are responsible. Discipline is handing back responsibility to you. This is often felt in relationships. You're more present, more stable, more consistent, and yet you feel a quiet pressure inside. This is not stress, it is responsibility. Because now you can't blame chaos anymore. There is clarity. You're now clear. That's what discipline does for you. Discipline brings in clarity, so you're now clear. So you can't blame chaos anymore. So now discipline hands you back the whole work to do. So this is responsibility. What are you building? It is now up to you. Segment number 6, why most people rush this part. People rush the build because silence feels uncomfortable. So people, they tend to rush the build. Clarity requires honesty. And long-term thinking removes excuses. That's why people rush the build. It's easier to stay busy. I've said that before, than to actually choose a direction. But the quality of what you build depends on the patience you bring to this stage. The quality of what you build, the quality of your creation depends on the patience you bring to this stage. This stage is very, very important. The quality of whatever you create depends on the patience that comes with you into the stage. This is where people jump too quickly. This is a stage where people jump too quickly. They jump into new goals. They jump into new projects. They jump into new distractions. It's not because they are ready. but because slowing down feels scary. Choosing direction means owning outcomes. I said you are now responsible. It is no longer on discipline again. Segment number 7. The quiet builds begins with intention. It begins with intention. You start building with action. You don't start building with action, sorry. You start with intention. You start by asking, what deserves my long-term effort? What deserves my long-term effort? What kind of life do I want to look back on? When all this is said and done, what kind of life do I want to look back on? What am I willing to build slowly? Now, these are the kind of questions you start asking. You don't start building with action, you start building with intention. And you ask questions. What deserves my long time effort? And these answers don't come quickly. Well, that's the point. The point is not for the answers to come quickly, because it takes time. It takes time for you to even get clarity in terms of understanding what you want to build. And this is where people sit with questions instead of answers. People have more questions than answers. Where certainty gives way to honesty. And that pause you feel, that space is not delay, it is design. That is actually design. Segment number 8. As usual, I ask a question in this segment. This is a question that sets the series. Let me ask you something honestly. If discipline gives you stability, what are you now responsible to build with it? We said discipline is going to bring stability into your life. Discipline is going to bring clarity into your life. But discipline doesn't give you direction. So you have to build something with the stable life that you got. So that is what a lot of people at that point, what you hear them asking is, okay, what next? Now that I have taken care of the habits, what do I do next? What comes next? If discipline gives you stability, what are you now responsible to build with it? Hello, Pedro. How you doing? What are you now responsible to build with that stability? Now, I'm not talking about tomorrow. It will be wrong for you to say, oh, Matt said, oh, what do I build with it? I start thinking about, no. It's not about tomorrow. It's not urgently, but intentionally. Intentionally. This is a question you need to sit down with yourself to say, all right, all good and fine. Now I've worked on the habit. Now I have some clarity. Now I'm now stable. What am I building in the long term? It is not what am I building tomorrow. What am I building in the next 5 years? What am I building in the next 10 years? What am I going to turn back and look at after 20 years? That is what matters. It is not what am I building tomorrow. No. At this point, you have clarity. So the build now is in the future, or is for the future. This question, what am I building, will guide everything that comes next. This is the question that will guide everything that comes next. Because when you're able to decide what you're building in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, you now start moving into the realm of action. We're just starting. The question we're asking today on this episode is, what are you actually building now that you're disciplined? Now that you are clear, what are you actually building? Now, this is the moment people stop taking notes and they start reflecting. What kind of life do I want to live? What do I want to look at behind in the next 10 years and say, woof, I built that. See, this answer here is not theoretical. This answer cannot be answered by anybody for you. It's a personal answer and it's very practical. If you do it, you have something to fall back on. If you don't do it, oh, you'll be the ones that is falling on, I don't want to use that word, but a lot of people falling on government pensions down the line. Hey friends, discipline prepared you. All throughout last week, every night we're talking about the disciplined life. We had 10 episodes. We ran through different phases of discipline. Discipline prepared you. But discipline doesn't take you to where you need to get to. Once you're prepared, now come the quiet work of building. That is why this series is called The Quiet Build. And this is where the disciplined people stop fixing their lives and start shaping their lives. Wow. Thank you so much for sticking around with us. It's gonna be a ride in this series. I promise you that. We have a lot lined up for this series. Every night we have 30 minutes to 45 minutes talking about these things in different episodes. Today's episode 1, and we just asked the question, what are you building now that you're disciplined? What are you building? It's going to be a lot coming down the pipe. I promise you that. And I ask you to stick around. Stick around with us. This is going to be a journey that will shape your life, that will change your life for the better. Thank you so much, friends. Now, if you've not subscribed to our channel, kindly subscribe so that you know when we come live and you're able to watch the previous videos we have. We have lot and lot of videos. Now, this is a library. And I always say this channel is not a place for hype. It's not a place for entertainment. So if you want entertainment, you want comedy, you want music and all that, they're all great. But this is not where you get it. This is all growth. This is all direction. That's what we do here. And in this channel, there's no judgment. There's no judgment, only direction. Hey, Mr. Johnny, how you doing, sir? Only direction. Well, this is the Quiet Build series. And today we just talked about what are you actually building. All right, that's all for now from me. I've had a great time talking with you guys. And as usual, I'm always live between the hours of 7, 8 EST to have a conversation with the folks online. Then most of our videos are saved. They're archived on the live session of our YouTube channel. Please go watch them. And if there's anything you want us to talk about, or there's any area that you think, oh, Matt, this is not correct, or I have questions on this, please reach out. Let's learn together. Like I always say, this is a place for growth. This channel is a place for growth and nothing else. Thank you so much, friends, for your time. Thank you for your support. Do have a great day. And this is Matt Miller signing out for the night. Good night, fellas. Bye for now.